The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Wednesday from New York, The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson. This is Ed McMahon along with Doc Severance of the NBC Orchestra, inviting you to join Johnny and his guests, Alan King, Raquel Welch, Pig Meat, here comes Judge Markham, and Cena Hamilton. Good evening. John will be here in just 60 seconds. Talk about how to get people to join a carpool. Well, here's a cool idea from Thermo King, the auto air conditioning people.
These are the people who ride to work with me on these very hot and uncomfortable days. As you can see, it's cool inside my car. The doors are locked and the windows are rolled up.
Hey, what's that under your dash?
Oh, that's my new Thermo King auto air conditioner. Boy, is it cool.
Air conditioning?
Did he say air conditioning?
Yeah, Thermo King air conditioning. Thermo King is made by the world leader in transport cooling. Cools faster and better.
Harry! Harry, open up!
Harry, hot, open up, Harry.
And the real beauty of Thermo King air conditioning is you can take it out when you trade cars.
Beautiful, Harry, let us in.
And Thermo King has coast-to-coast service.
Beautiful coast-to-coast service.
Harry, open up, will you?
We're melting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was so hot out there.
Harry, you want to drive in?
Waiting for so long.
See your nearby Thermo King dealer for a one-day installation in any make or model. Thermo King.
And now, here's Johnny.
Okay. That's enough of the entertainment. On with the commercials. That's the monologue. Do me a favor, will you? Really, just do what I ask. Just reach under your seats, all of you, with your fingers. Kind of wiggle your fingers and go. Just under the seat. Come on, go ahead. Underneath the seat. I'll tell you why I asked you to do that. Ever since the science program, it didn't seem to work anyway. Remember the science program they had last week? Well, they've been missing a razor-tongued iguana. Ever since, and the little devil's probably starving to death by now, and I thought maybe you might... Nobody got him, huh? Ooh, look at that tie. Ooh! Have you worn that one before?
No, I just got this one.
Who sold you that?
Well, this
Some
is part
gypsy
of
in an empty store?
Raquel Welch's old bikini here.
Raquel Welch's old bikini?
The bottom half.
Top half you could make a suit out of. Anyway. Okay. Ed had an embarrassing incident this morning. He was going home very late this morning with a drink in one hand during his morning crawl. And some little old lady walked by and says, "Oh, look how the poor thing is favoring his right paw. They ought to put him to sleep." Remember that? Like this. Hey, you're good tonight. This makes up for last night. We had last night, I don't know what happened. You know, the audience was, golly, they acted as if I had bad breath. Did you notice that? I tell you, laughs last night, I got laughs like Madeline Murray would got at the Ecumenical Council meeting. They're back. Made me a little uneasy last night when I looked out at my staff and they were handing out canisters of mace to the audience. You know what mace is? It's to control riot crowd riots. Don't know what it is, huh? Did you read in the paper today? Guess who retired from show business? Monty Rock III. Monty Rock is retired from third. The wild singer, you know, he used to come out with the beads and everything. And you know why he retired? He said Tiny Tim has He says they has stolen his act. He says they look so similar that Monty went back to hairdressing. Isn't that ridiculous because of similar appearance? I mean, do I get nasty about Paul Newman? No, didn't he retire?
Yes.
Where is Monty hairdressing now?
East side.
What?
Over the east side.
What does that mean?
Just over there, you know. Come to your house.
At Tiny Tim's house.
At Tiny Tim's? Become Tiny Tim's hair. Hey, do you know who's on our show tomorrow night? Ed Sullivan.
Yeah.
He's going to be here tomorrow. One of his rare appearances on another network. It's his 20th anniversary in show business. Ed's quite an interesting guy. We're going to talk about. Have you seen the new book about Ed? Of all the things he's done the past 20 years on his show, the silly introductions. We're going to talk about him tomorrow. He is famous for two things, I think. His speech and his face. Wouldn't you say that would be about it? No, his manner on stage and his speech. And we also have Raquel Welch, who is with us tonight, who is famous for, Okay, let's forget that and go right ahead. Hey, New York is starved for entertainment, you know it? Everything is closed in New York. How long's the strike gonna last? Anybody know?
Doesn't look good.
You had tickets tonight to a Broadway show? The strike is still on. I understand it's going to go on for many years. What? That's what David Merrick said. It may last 5 years, according to David Merrick. People are starved. I saw 15,000 B'nai B'rith members going to a testimonial for Nasser tonight. Anything, just to see something. PS 75 in the Bronx is doing their version of Hair tonight. It's called Peach Fuzz. It's a small group. One of our I probably shouldn't tell this. One of our secretaries, you know who it is. I wouldn't mention her name in our office, had a very unusual experience today. Luckily, it turned out all right. She was accosted by a man on 8th Avenue, and she had to go down to the police station to identify him. And have you ever been to a police station where they have the lineup? And these 7 fellas came out, and a girl on our staff wasn't sure. She couldn't identify, the man that had approached her. So she said, could the fellow on the end fondle me? Because she couldn't tell. That's what she said, and they put her away. They're going to put me away and all of us away. Hey, I mentioned Raquel Welch is with us tonight. Pretty young lady.
Oh, yes.
Hmm?
Yeah, yes, I do. I'll drink to that.
Alan, you'll drink to that? You'll drink to a bayou. There's a tree. I'll drink to that. Alan King is with us. Here Come the Judge is with us tonight. Pigmeat Markham, the guy who originated that whole phrase back in, I think, 30 or 31. Is going to do some sketches. And a lady by the name of Sina Hamilton, and something I know nothing about, but it sounds like the nuttiest thing I've ever heard of. We have a man with us tonight. What can I do? You know what this is about? He has a lie detector, what they call a polygraph, and he's going to hook it up to some plants. This man has found that plants.
Lie?
What?
Plants lie?
We don't know. This is what I say. They get some kind of reaction when things happen around them, and they react. Does that sound weird?
Yeah.
Something to do with ESP or something like that. He'll be with us. I don't know anything about it, but it ought to be unusual. He'll be here. Do you have a commercial?
No, sir.
I don't know what we're going to do then if we don't have it. Oh, we'll continue with that. The man with his plan will be here in just a moment. Thought it was empty. Got me with my all. Right. And now a word about new concentrated oil. The grease breaker. Oh.
This is a grease maker. Not much you can do about grease makers. But there is a remarkable way to break up the grease they leave behind. It's the grease breaker, concentrated oil.
Watch. Greasy oil in wash water with a leading detergent and wash water with all. All breaks up grease like no other detergent can.
There'll always be grease makers. That's why you need the grease breaker, concentrated oil.
What's the best way to get rid of water spots on glassware? Strip them away with new dishwasher oil. New with built-in spot removers. You see, water spotting is caused by an invisible film. Droplets stick to it, dry into spots. But new dishwasher oil strips away this invisible film to to leave glassware, silver, everything sparkling clean and clean. New dishwasher all with built-in spot removers.
We'll come to this in just a moment because we'll be there in a second. Wait till you see this.
I want to see that.
I haven't seen this yet.
There's another team developing
What's that?
on the horizon. Roland Martin with the big hits of last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new team, Carson and McMahon.
I understand that Joanne was working with you today. All day today on Snap Judgment?
That's taped for sometime in August, but we're on Match Game this week. We're together.
Oh, Match Game?
Yeah. But
I
she's
thought
working.
she was on your show.
Well, she is taping. That's for the future.
Ah.
We tape ahead.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're up through August.
Through August, yes.
Ah.
Isn't that nice to know that?
Was she any good?
The first day, she was extraordinary. Then she started to go downhill.
I understand that she got clobbered.
Today, Don Meredith is a partner, and...
he's a quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, right?
Yeah, and great guy, by the way. Charming
Yes,
guy.
he is.
And she just couldn't win. She couldn't do it right. It's not a question, it's a thing of ESPing into the partner, and just couldn't get it. He beat her 4 games in a row.
Well, she'll be crying tonight.
Yes.
Remember when I was on your show, all the money I won for those contestants?
You didn't win 1 game.
Lady of New Jersey, I thought was going to kill me. Nice housewife in New
Yeah.
Jersey. He didn't win. He's not trying.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Luckily, I grabbed the pencil
Got
from her
no
hand.
money
I
for
should have gone right into
no
it.
money for the Timmy. You know? He went home, wiped out. All right. Folks, there must be something to this. This was in a Saturday Evening Post of, where's the date on this? In March. About a gentleman by the name of Mr. Cleve Baxter, who's a polygraph expert and is the founder of the Baxter Research Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization here in New York. And now what this has to do is pretty weird. It says Mr. Baxter reports that he can cause wild excitement in a plant. Measurable on a lie detector by sometimes just thinking nasty thoughts about the plant, sometimes by threatening it, or just thinking about violent things, that the plant reacts, and it's measurable on a polygraph.
That defies believability.
Well, that's what we thought. But we're going to find out if it works. Mr. Baxter's brought his plant here. I don't know if it's an ordinary plant, but we'll find out. So we're going to try to duplicate. He found this one day in his office, I understand. He was sitting, let's see, let me read what I can. He was in his office, and he decided to treat the plant like it was a human being. And the plant reacted. And Mr. Baxter drinks heavily. No, he doesn't. I just made that up. Let's go over and meet Mr. Cleve Baxter. Would you say hello? Who's this over here?
This is my right hand man, Robert Hinton.
I'm standing here, and I see this man standing. I thought this was Mr. Baxter.
This is the plant.
You're Mr. Baxter. I know, this is the plant.
That's your plant, by the way.
Who is this? You're Mr. Baxter.
Yes, I am.
Who is this gentleman?
This is Mr. Henson, my
Hi,
associate.
Mr. Henson. Were you there that great day?
No, sir. I come in a little late.
All righty. But you heard all about it, didn't you?
Heard all about it.
You noticed
We
that
hadn't
meeting?
met. That's why I didn't know Mr. Baxter when I walked out.
It's the best way.
And now, is this our plant?
That's your plant. It's not mine.
All right. Well, we don't want any loaded plants.
It's
Now, what are we really going to... Now, this is, what, the polygraph machine,
Yes, this
right?
is a standard polygraph machine, or otherwise known as a lie detector. The blood pressure section, the breathing section, and the psychogalvanic reflex section, which is the only one that we're using as far as the plant is concerned.
Now, you have one of the little petals of this plant clamped,
Attached, just be kind.
attached. Now, what did you really try to find out? If you can stimulate a plant?
Well, actually, on February 2nd, 1960, well, let's see, this was back 2 years, that would be 66. I was interested in how long it took water to go from the root area of the plant up into the leaf area. And I thought if I would hook the psychogalvanic reflex section of the polygraph on either side of the leaf, that as the water arrived and the leaf became more moist, I should get a trending of the pen in an upward direction because it was a better conductor. Actually, it did something quite different. I got some gyrations somewhat similar to the ones here, and pretty soon they started to make some meaning that started us off in 2 years of rather interesting research. This is not really to us, it's no gimmick at all. It's quite a serious study. We're a research foundation, and we're doing our proofs by scientific methodology strictly. In other words, this is more to acquaint people with a new look as far as research is concerned, and a back-to-nature approach, I think.
What is that measuring now? What does that all that mean?
Programmed stress, I'm afraid, and probably me.
What do you mean?
Well, the up and down of the pen is when the plant is showing excitation. Now that, as we've found out over a 2-year period of time, and this, again, anything that we're talking of here is not meant to be a proof as such, only a trend, only a projection of what is coming about.
How do you excite a plant? What do you show it a naked picture of a hollyhock?
We might try that. The plant calmed down on that, so I'm afraid it isn't attracted to a hollyhock. But actually, any stress in the area is picked up by the plant. In other words, if there is a stressful situation anywhere in the immediate area, and even 50, 100 feet away, it became rather apparent to us after a short period of study that at the moment we thought of doing some harm, if we did intend to do some harm to the plant, at that split second, we got excitation even though we were nowhere near the plant except perhaps within eye view.
Can we try this?
Surely. I'm sure there are a number of things we can do to get a little more programmed stress around here. Now, Mr. Henson, my associate, who has really contributed greatly toward the research by actually tending shop while I'm off on this excursion, taking my workload as well as his, and also helped me on the proof experiments that we're writing up now for publication in Scientific Journal, will stand somewhat back from the adjustments so that no one will have a feeling that we're sort of riding the controls or doing anything as far as twisting knobs are concerned, and only if the pen does hit the extreme at the top or the bottom will he step up and do an adjustment such as I'll do now. For instance, you notice the pen went downward, and or if it's at the bottom, upward like that, or in a change in sensitivity, and then he'll step back, and only when required. Even though he knows when this change is required, I'll mention it for him to come in and do so. That way.
What are we going to do to the plant?
Well, what would you like to do to the plant? We have a number of things we can do to threaten its well-being.
So, you got a pair of scissors here.
Yes.
Now, do you mean if I threaten this plant with a pair of scissors like I'm going to cut it, the plant is going to react?
Well, if you really mean to hurt the plant, if you really intend to, I think quite well it will. The tracing shows me you're acting.
What?
There is not mass excitation here.
Here, listen. You want to get Raquel Welch out of here? And the plant goes, yeah.
I have something here, perhaps, that would create a little mass excitation. This is one of these protection devices. You may hear buzzing. It has somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 volts in it, generated from 3 batteries. And by going through the audience for volunteers, or every other one if there's no volunteers, and just touching you with this, where the sparks fly, the pen will go right up off the chart. As long as you're not afraid of electricity. What do you say
I'll try it.
Oh, you want to try it?
What does that
do? It gives you a shock about 2,000 volts. This is a cattle probe.
Well, I don't want to do that.
You don't think I'll do it either.
The plant's not going to do it. Now, why is that moving up and down now?
Because you don't quite know what I'm going to do.
I just will get a feeling, but I'm not hooked up to that.
You don't have to be. Now, this is the point. What we found out and are able to pursue in our research is, well, in fact, in our research experiments, we actually programmed stress at one end of the laboratory by having some small brine shrimp that we dump into simmering water, all by a programmer. In other words, we're not even in the office.
Now, see, that's going way up there.
Does that mean anything? I'm talking about the demise of brine shrimp, and I hate to interpret this. I would rather let anyone draw their own conclusions, but when we talk about killing off cell life, Bob, you want to come in and do your job here? You have to bring this down again. This thing went right off the top of the chart.
Because we're talking about death?
Death of cell life as such, yes. Yes, this is a subject.
You mean if you would kill something near this plant, the plant would react?
Very much so. Who would you like to... I mean, what would you like to kill?
Suppose, now you got a cigarette lighter here.
Yes.
Suppose if you touch the plant with this, does the plant respond?
Well, now there you'll be physically touching the plant, so it would be a little hard to tell whether it was you're touching the plant or what it was. But let me just mention a point or two, Johnny, that it may be amazing to some people.
Want me to do this first, and then we'll come back and we'll tease the plant some more. This doesn't seem right, does it? Seems defenseless. We'd like to. You have philodendron in Germany? We'd like to welcome the Rexall Drug Company back to the Tonight Show. And here is Louis Knight to tell you all about the 2 for the Money sale at Rexall.
Freeze, value lovers. Heard about the Rexall 2 for the Money sale? 2 quality products for 1 low price, and it's going on right now. You know, you can get 2 cans of Bright Set hairspray for just 98 cents. Oh, nice. It's enough to make you lose your head. Or, wow. Or how about Minuteman chewable vitamins for children and adults? 2 bottles for just $2.99. Oh, yeah. Build a strong America. Forget it. Or paper tablets and envelopes. 2 for only 65 cents. Write a letter to a friend. Write a letter to your old sergeant and say, hi there. So come on down and save. When you see the values during Rexall's 2 for the Money sale, I'm going to tell you, you're going to do a double take.
None of this has been proved yet. Is that right?
Nothing. This would be considered an observation by scientific methodology. In other words...
Incidentally, we have this dial hooked up, which is in parallel, I guess, with the machine here, so it'll give you a reading. If something happens,
when it swings to the right, Johnny, that is an arousal or excitation. It's the same as the pen going upward here.
Now, if I cut that plant...
Yes.
Will that do something?
Let's see. That's your plant. I'm not familiar with. Ooh. Now, if you think of cutting,
seem to bother my plant at all.
If you think of cutting the very leaf that's being tested, just think of it a little bit and really intend to. Just give it a chance to really know you mean it and see what happens. Now, just not quite yet, but really count on doing it and burning it also, if you'd like, with a lighter. You might as well torture it nice. There she goes.
Which you just said, to torture the plant and the thing went up. What is this? What you're trying to find out these things for what reason?
Well, actually, the people who have the so-called green thumb, we found a very logical explanation for it.
Mm.
A person who has a green thumb actually...
Don't they say people who talk to plants, they grow better? I've read that before.
This, to my satisfaction, and again, we can publish material I think that will support this, is absolutely with foundation. And those people who are talking to their plants should keep right on talking.
Talk to your plants. Mm-hmm.
Come on, plant.
Go, baby.
Come on, baby.
Come on.
You can make it.
Love you, sweetheart.
Yeah, right to the top, baby. Go.
Grow. Now, we don't do anything to the plants.
You can see you don't mean it.
All right, now, if I reach over here and do something to that leaf.
All right, you think of doing something to the leaf, like burning the leaf right between the plates. That is the only one that really will respond to your threats.
It's just hard to believe, isn't it?
It took us 2 years and 4 months to really believe it as we do now. Now you're actually, you'll see some wild things happening here pretty soon. Now notice the meter going to the right and left, jumping around as we're having this crematorium revved up. Here we go.
I feel terrible.
Yeah.
Try this end here. Actually, you'll see some things.
This plant could be somebody's mother.
This could be some mother's plant, too.
Oops, my lighter went out.
All right, now, one point, actually, as we have approached our research, we find, there we go, you're a mean man.
Why didn't that stop?
This thing will test for 2 and 3 days now, without, you can take the plant right out of here, doesn't matter.
That's still working on that leaf.
Now, the amazing part is that we find that the same characteristics that are present in the plant cells are present in human cells. In other words, we can take scrapings from the roof of a mouth and put it in between the plates, and they have the same ESP characteristics, so-called.
You think it's like electrical energy or something?
Well, it's a type of energy we've not been able to shield out. We've tried every way, lead and so forth, to do it.
That's kind of wild.
It's very wild.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We'll be right back with another plant. I'm not sure I understand all of that, do you?
No.
But it was in the Saturday Evening Post. They say, what does it all mean? They don't really know. I don't know about that. What do you think? Well, really, what do you think?
I didn't see anything that was anything different there. I didn't see anything that the needle was moving all the time.
That's what I can't understand. The needle seemed to be moving before we did anything to the plant, back and forth, unless you can interpret those readings. But I guess that's what you're supposed to do.
Might mean something to another plant.
They think it has, well, there's electrical energy, between people all the time. That's what they say, and they don't understand it. That there are electrical charges in the air, and they pass back and forth, I guess, between all objects. All objects attract each other, Really. I mean, you attract this pencil. This pencil attracts the ashtray. It attracts this to a certain degree. Everything attracts. So maybe there's something to that. I remember that from physics.
Yes.
Which really doesn't help, does it? No, but everything attracts everything else.
Who's your next guest?
Who's
your next guest?
Raquel Welch.
Oh, I attract there.
Yes, you know, and
there I can feel it. I can tell it.
No, we have Raquel Welch with us tonight. We have Alan King. We have Pigmeat Markham with us, and he's going to do some of the old burlesque sketches. And Zena Hamilton, who runs a kind of a Gulliver's Travel bureau, I guess, for children. What are your kids doing this summer?
Well, we were down, you'll start again. You might as well start right now to Avalon. We're going down Sunday night.
You're going down a wonderful Avalon?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
absolutely.
Boy, that's wild. You ever been in Avalon on a Saturday night?
Yeah.
Look, Harvey, sand. No, Avalon. I'm going to start getting mail from Avalon. Yeah. I kid them.
No, it's a nice.
Didn't they make me an honorary citizen of
Avalon
last year?
They did. You were voted an honorary citizen. And there was a special letter to follow.
We'll take a little break here, and then we'll be right back, and Raquel Welch will come right out here on our stage.
Same story every summer. I'm under the sun for hours. Getting a tan? No, sir. Getting a sunburn. You don't know sunburn's happening until later when... Oh, that burn starts burning. This year I'm using unguentine aerosol because it has benzocaine, the fast-working painkiller. Benzocaine for fast, temporary pain relief. Unguentine brings soothing relief more ways for burns and first aid.
Let's see now. I've got to sell something here. That looks about right, doesn't it? Next time you have a party and you serve chips and dips. I remember that act. You used to work the palace. Chips and dips. Here's how to get the spots off the carpet. Right, Ed?
That's right.
Chips
You reach for Texsize K2R, the world's first spot lifter. It takes more spots or more materials than anything. Watch this. You spray Texsize K2R on the spot, let it dry completely. Now watch it lift the spot clean out. Remove the dry powder, and the spot goes with it. And K2R never leaves a ring. Well, this is it, the spot remover that works on clothing, too. Upholstery, even wallpaper. Texsize K2R, the spray can or the tube, lifts the spot clean out, never leaves a ring. Now a short story, about a little boy with problems.
What happened back there? What
I just got kind of confused. I said, now a short story. It's a short story.
A short story? Yes. You're thinking of after the show already, yes. Aren't you?
I've had the masters try to shake me up back there. Buddy Hackett, Alan King, all the big ones.
And you've fallen apart every time.
No. I think I can say that I've remained unshaken, but it's not easy to do a commercial and look out at Raquel Welch.
That would tend to do it. She probably is the biggest, she probably doesn't like this word, sex symbol in motion pictures today.
She doesn't like it. I understand she doesn't like that.
Oh. Well, I mean, that's what you would normally say, wouldn't you? I mean, she's gorgeous, but she's done motion pictures where her, you know what I'm trying to say, is
I know what you're trying to say.
It is not...
I just assumed you wouldn't say it.
No, it's not necessary to be unclothed.
No.
To be an actress and to be acceptable.
Right. She's wearing plenty of clothing tonight, and she still looks awful good to me.
Easy, Tiger. She on her way to London. Uh-oh, here she comes. No. She's just come back from Dallas, where her most recent film, Bandolero opened. No, that plant did me in. That crazy man with his plant. I don't know. I just shouldn't say that the man is crazy. Unusual.
The plant is shaky.
The plant is a little weird. Here she is. Raquel Welch. You look like you're entered in the cheer whiteness test. This dress is much whiter than dress B. Remember those?
Actually, what?
Last time you came here, you had a miniskirt.
Yeah.
I remember that was the end to all miniskirts, and tonight almost a complete turnabout.
Yes, that's not significant in any way.
It isn't at
No.
all? That's very pretty.
No, I just came from Dallas, and this was the dress I had with me for the premiere, and I really didn't know I was kind of going to do your show, because I didn't know if I'd have time before I fled off to London, but I wouldn't leave the country again without saying goodbye to you.
I know you wouldn't. Every time she leaves the country, she comes back
goodbye
here.
to you.
Says goodbye to me.
And then
Lots
when
of
I
girls
come
have left the
back in-
country after saying goodbye to me.
And when I come back in, don't I always stop by and say hello and tell you what's going on?
I like dresses like that. I really do.
I do, too.
I think...
My husband likes it.
Does he?
Yes. He picked it out, actually. Well, you know what it was? When I went into the store, I bought it in Jackson, in California, and it was a blouse. And I said, oh, it's such a beautiful blouse. It's too bad it's not a dress. And then I thought, well, I'm going to do this kind of a rally coming up. How about a long dress instead of just a short dress? That would be really marvelous.
That's very pretty.
So they made it long for me.
Did you hear the introduction I made of you? And
Yes,
Ed
I
said you
did.
wouldn't like it. And maybe you don't.
Well, I like sex, but I...
Well... They always put that symbol. They always put that symbol on somebody who becomes successful in pictures. The new sex goddess or sex symbol. Does it rankle you a little bit?
Not anymore. In the beginning, I used to get a little bit perturbed because it seemed to, I don't know, there seemed to be a stereotyped idea of what a sex symbol was, sort of vapid and not too bright and not with much ability or...
Doesn't hold true, really.
Well, I don't know if it does or not, but it's kind of, it makes you feel that you're limited in some way, and so you kind of fight against it, but I don't think that you can really fight against an image. It's something that you can't control, don't you think?
I've tried to control mine, you know. You said once, I think, and when we talked together, that you didn't want to start to be known just as, you know, doing layouts, because you were in Playboy once.
Doing which?
Yeah, you know, doing pictures with, doing what? What was that? I missed that. I'm not thinking well tonight. Do you know what I'm getting at? That
Yes,
you didn't want to be
yes.
just known for removing your, divesting yourself of your garments.
Well, actually, I never have done a
That's very
nude,
nice.
and I sort of have made a statement, I guess, in the beginning of my career that I wasn't particularly interested in doing Playboy. I think they have enough candidates to fill the book each month, and I don't see why I have to join the ranks. I don't think that it's sort of a necessary thing.
No.
And I mean, if I'm already sort of accepted as a glamorous type or a sex symbol, or that is the image that's grown around me, it seems like almost gilding the lily, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't need it anyway. Hey, this latest picture, Bandolero, isn't it? Jimmy Stewart's in this, isn't he?
Oh, yes, yes. And Dean Martin, and George Kennedy, and Andy McLaglen directed it. And, you know, he was on the show that he said to say hello to
Andy
you.
McLaglen was the director who directed our fight scene. We did a fight scene on the coast last time we were in California with
Yeah.
Doug McClure, Jim Drury, and a couple of stuntmen, and I think McLaglen did that.
Yes. He said to say hello, and he was sorry about the cuts and bruises.
I didn't get him. The stuntman got one that night during that fight.
Well, he's so used to working with John Wayne, I think he forgets, you know, the indestructible, that he thinks the real wall goes down when you go bam.
How are you when you go out with crowds? Do they bother you?
Well, a little bit.
Are you a loner, or do you like to get out and meet the people, or what?
Well, I'm a bit intimidated by large crowds of people who seem to be sort of closing in around, but you're paranoid at a certain point in your career when it seems to be coming to a very high pitch. And then you sort of balance off and you accept it. I know when we were doing Bandolero down in Texas, we had about 1,500 people on the set every day. And I got very sort of removed, and I'd stay in my trailer. And then one day Jimmy Stewart came by, and he's such a gracious man, and he was always so wonderful, and so was Dean. And he said, you know, well, Raquel, dear, those people out there, they think we're magic, and
You're really not
must go out
going
and
to see
sing
him.
along, yes.
He's a great
And
guy.
he was so wonderful, and I said, well, you're right. I have to go out because they've all come a long way. They came from all over Texas just to say hello or maybe have an autograph signed. And he said, you really ought to be flattered by this, and I am now.
Yeah, you ought to be. Somebody says you're heading for London. Are you going right into another picture already?
Yes, I'm going to do a film called 100 Rifles in Spain with Jim Brown. And I'm looking forward to working with him.
Yeah.
He's quite a fantastic man.
Yes, he is. Let me do this
Say
first.
This about that.
Yeah, you get no argument from me on that. What do I have to hold up a shoe?
Get your shoe. Oh, when you're in last in the ring.
Well, they made this out of lead. All right. If you one of these days, right in the middle of the show, I'm going to just go wiggle when I'm holding up something like this. Great.
Want to be a champ? Like The Rock? Watch that footwork, because while you're picking up the crown, you might pick up athlete's foot. Use MP27 aerosol. Dries as a powder, KOs fungus to help clear up athlete's foot. Use it every day. What a comeback. These are happy feet. MP27 has other contenders. Liquid, powder, cream. Get MP27.
Is it Jimmy?
Uh-huh. His stomach's probably upset by all that stuff you fed him at the game.
Soothe his upset stomach with Pepto-Bismol. Pepto-Bismol has coatability for soft, smooth coating action that spreads like a creamy blanket of relief over his irritated stomach. And his lower tract, too. Put coatability between him and stomach distress with soothing pink Pepto-Bismol.
It is time once again, ladies and gentlemen, for another presentation of little-known happenings. This time it's answers to famous quotes. We're all familiar with history's famous quotations. What history does not record is the answers to those famous quotes. So as a public service, the mighty CARSON art players will now do that. The first one. Michelangelo finished his monumental work of art by saying, 3 years of work. I have finished painting the Sistine Chapel ceiling. A worker at the chapel replied,
Big deal. I could have done it in 20 minutes with a roller.
It is written that when Lot experienced his wife's transformation, he said, my wife is a pillar of salt. A friend replied,
My wife ain't too big a trill either, you know.
It was in a court of France that a general rushed up to Josephine with the news, Napoleon has just lost a battle to Lord Wellington. To this news, Josephine replied,
That's a coincidence. I just lost a battle to his second lieutenant.
Henry Stanley searched Africa for Dr. Livingston. Upon meeting him, he said, Dr. Livingston, I presume. Dr. Livingston answered,
Yes, take 2 aspirin and call me in the morning.
It was the French and Indian War that General Horace Livesey secured his fort for the night, then turned to an aide and said, Secure, Indians never attack at night. To this, his aide replied,
I don't think the Indians read your memo, sir.
It was the 18th of April in 1775 that silversmith Paul Revere rode out with a warning. He stopped at a farmhouse and shouted, The British are coming, the British are coming. The woman inside shouted back,
Oh, Oh, that's a break. I thought it was my husband coming back from Philadelphia.
Jonah returned from his adventure and said to his wife, "I've just spent 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of a whale." To which his wife replied,
Go ahead, say it, I dare you. Go ahead, say it. Go ahead, say it. I won't say it.
To which his wife replied,
What kind of a cockamamie story is that? I want a divorce.
Lewis Carroll, author of Alice Through the Looking Glass, once turned to his wife and said, "'Twas Brilly in the Sylvie Tove, did Gyrie in the Gimble in the Wave." His wife replied,
I didn't know you were Jewish, Louis.
Henry VIII was notorious for eliminating wives. Once he turned to the executioner and pointed to his wife and said, "Chop off her head and bring it to me." His wife replied,
Okay, Henry, but you're throwing away the best part.
General George Washington stood with his troops during the Revolutionary War and said, "We must have food or we can't go on." His troops, seeing Martha Washington bringing large boxes of candy, said,
Here comes the fudge. Here comes the fudge. Here comes the fudge.
Right? Oh, all right.
Oh, yes. Ah. By your leave, sir.
Yes.
Come on, sit down. Come on, Raquel. So, don't put on. That's your first experience with the Carson Mighty Art?
That's it. Oh.
Next time you plan we have some time, because you didn't get into
Yes,
it
I
just
know.
about a
I
half
was
hour
very-
before the
I
show.
was very
Sometime we want to do a whole dramatic sketch.
With a big setup and everything.
Big set.
Yes.
With those, we really are in trouble. Now, here's Jack Haskell. Here's Jack Haskell to show you how to barbecue steaks without increasing your meat budget.
These are the status steaks. Porterhouse T-bone. The ones people rave about and pay a lot of money for. And here are steaks that are a little more humble. Top round and bottom round. Now, they may be humble, but did you know that these inexpensive cuts have a hearty beef flavor? And pound for pound, they also have more protein, less fat, and therefore fewer calories. All they lack is natural tenderness. Well, all you need to make these cuts taste like the status steaks is a little Adolph's Instant Meat Tenderizer. You just moisten, sprinkle, and pierce on both sides. And these inexpensive steaks come out tender enough to barbecue. So get yourself a bottle of Adolph's, seasoned or unseasoned, and save money on the best tasting barbecue steaks all summer long.
It takes a lot of time and ingredients to marinate meat, unless you use Adolph's Instant Meat Marinade. Works in 15 minutes.
Of course, our third member of the Carson Mighty Art Players was our good friend, Mr. Alan King. Welcome back.
Thanks, Ziggy.
Remember that song? That was just about the time we were in high school. That
Angels
was the
Sing.
biggest song, Ziggy Ullman and the Angels Sing.
Benny Goodman, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that was Goodman, wasn't it? Yeah. I wasn't able to be at your son's bar mitzvah on Saturday.
You weren't?
No. You wouldn't remember. I understand that was quite a do.
Oh,
you
yeah.
wouldn't have known if I was there anyway.
Oh, I want to tell you something that after I said the prayer over the bread, I don't remember a thing. It was great. It was just great. And Ed didn't show up either, but he had, Ed, you had your son's graduation.
Yeah.
I know, and I do appreciate the thoughts. And Ed was taping till very late that night. He told me tonight. He said, my wife didn't want to show up. It was so late. It was about 12 o'clock. My party ended at 10 minutes to 7. That's right. With Jilly, from Jilly's.
Oh, yes.
10 to 7. He says, where are we going now?
10 to 7.
10 to 7 in the morning.
It started what time?
It started at 9 o'clock the following morning. It was like a Polish wedding.
Went on and on.
Oh, yeah, it was beautiful. It was just great, and it's...
For the people who may not know, and there are probably people who do not know exactly what a bar mitzvah is, explain it to the people who are not of the Jewish faith or don't really know what it consists of. It's a milestone, though, in a youngster's life, isn't it?
Well, those of you who may not be descendants of the tribes, well, if I can really be serious for a moment, I think that the bar mitzvah has gotten out of hand. I mean, you know, these parties, my wife, she invited everybody, including Loeb and Leopold was there. And, oh, yeah. She just wanted names.
Well, originally it was just a family affair with a...
Well, it's not even a family affair. What nobody seems to realize anymore is that a bar mitzvah in the Jewish faith is probably the holiest moment in a boy's life. Because, I mean, birth and marriage is something else. But at the age of 13, according to about almost 4,000 years of tradition, this is the point in a boy's life when he is ready to step forward and accept his responsibilities in the community, in the society. And it's a very holy thing, and it's a beautiful ceremony. The confirmation, actually. Right. I think if my education serves me, Abraham, at the age of 13, refused to bow down to his father's idols. And that's how it's supposed to have started, you see. And the words itself, bar means son, and mitzvah means command or commandment. It's a son of the commandments of the Lord. You see, this is a very holy thing. And of course, what's happened in our jaded society is that it's a reason for an orgy, you know. You know, everybody carrying on with rock and roll bands. But the ceremony actually takes place in the morning. Yeah. You see, in the synagogue, temple, and it's a beautiful thing. My older boy, they have to, I may be accused of being sacrilegious, but I have been accused of many other things. And what it is it's this, for years, you see, a young boy starts religious school. I would say, I started at the age of 6 because I came from a very Orthodox family. Mm-hmm. And my grandfather was a holy man, and we were raised in this tradition. And of course, I've seen it change, but I decided that my older boy, who's now 17, that he would start religious school at about 7. But then the psychologists and everybody say, oh, he has too much on his mind, you know. And so what they really do is they get you into a position where you just learn that one prayer, you see? And that's the big thing. It's almost a performance, you see? And my older boy, we got him in for 3 years to learn this, it's called the Haftorah. It's a beautiful, holy thing.
This is what the boy recites.
He sings this chant. And we had him in school for about 2 years. It's just, the thing takes about 3 minutes. You know, really, 4 minutes. And after 2 years in the religious school, I get a call from the chief rabbi. See, because in my community, we got a chief rabbi, and then we got a executive vice rabbi, you know. We don't have too many good Jews, but we got a lot of rabbis. Oh, yeah. We got 11 temples where I live. You know. Oh, yeah. We got one with hats, one without hats. We have one come as you are. They have their Friday night services on Tuesday afternoon. They sit around and read Mad magazine, you know. But I make fun of it because I genuinely care about this thing, and I've seen it distorted. And so after 2 years, the rabbi calls us in, and he says, Mr. King, he said, your boy does not know the Haftorah.
Been there 2 years?
2 years. But he knew every lyric that the Beatles ever recorded, you know. I says, well, how could he not know it, you know? And my wife panics right away. What are we going to do, you know? I says, you'll give him the money, let him run away to Connecticut and get bar mitzvahs. I mean, what do I know what we're going to do? The rabbi will make the decision, you see. Rabbi told us he thought it would be advisable that for the last year we got a private tutor.
Just to get him ready for
to get him ready for this 4-minute thing, you see. I'm not making light of a thing, but it gets out of hand, you see. So I said, well, he says 3 days a week, a couple of hours a night. So we got a young rabbi from the community, Rabbi Chuck.
Rabbi Chuck. Well, that's the mod.
You ever hear of a Rabbi Chuck? No. He came in tennis shoes and a Volkswagen. And that's what we heard for 1 year. Now, I knew it. See, I knew it. And when the rabbi wasn't there, we had it on a tape recorder. We had it written phonetically on the bathroom mirror. We lived with it for 1 year. Now, and this is, you're always, this is true.
Okay, I didn't say anything.
Because you're always putting me on that everything I say is not true.
It really happened, huh?
It really happened. What I like. Came the glorious moment. You know, the moment when the ceremony takes place. And 500 people filled the temple. Because when I sent the invitations out, I said, if you don't come to the temple in the morning, don't come to the party at night. I don't need no freeloading booze, you know. I want you to enjoy it with me, which is really where the ceremony and the joyous occasion takes place. Now, there were 3 boys being bar mitzvah that morning. It's according to the birth date, you see. There could be 6, you see. Now, first kid got up there. Now, this is 4 years ago. First kid got up there. He weighed about 210, 13 years old, about 6'2". You never saw anything like this. And he knew what he was there for because he sang out, this kid. And it was, you could hear a pin drop. The father sitting next, tears filled his eyes, you know. It was a beautiful moment. Then the next kid got up there, and this, with an English mod, you know, with the vents cut up to his armpits, with a hair like a fungus infection, you know. This is the way a kid was going to be bar mitzvah, you see. And it was good. It was good. A little variation it was here, but, you know.
Little tempo.
Oh, yeah.
Tempo.
And then the old man got up and said, one more time. Now came the moment, you know, when my Fink walked up there. My wife was so nervous. She started pulling up me, you know. She says, what if he don't know it? I says, how could he not know it?
Rabbi Chuck and Rabbi Chuck.
Rabbi Chuck. My maid knew the Haftorah. In fact, I had her standing by in a blue suit, see? If my kid would have blown one line, I was going to throw her right in there. Somebody from my house was going to be bar mitzvah that morning. But I make light of it, but they all rise to the occasion.
And he came off?
And they all do. And my son Andy, past Saturday, was absolutely marvelous. I was very proud of him.
That's funny.
Very proud of him.
Well, that's a big step for a youngster, I'm sure. Because one of my sons just graduated from high school, and I went out. And I was looking at the film today because I did something I'd wanted to do. He happened to be the valedictorian of his class, and he gave the valedictory address. So I filmed it without letting him know, sound on film. You know, with a camera way away. I wasn't even doing it. And I saw it today, and, you know, he'll like that maybe in 20 or 25 years when his kids go into school, and he'll say, well, here's what your father said on his high school graduation. It'd be a nice thing.
Well, you know, you're not allowed to bring cameras into the synagogue, so we took pictures of the party. So my boy, when he gets 25 years, he'll look at all his father's drunken friends laying on the ground.
Couldn't see Jilly looking for the door.
Yeah,
where are we going now? That'll be a tender moment. This is Uncle Jilly. Hi, Galamanga. We'll take a quick break, and we're coming right back. 25 years.
It's almost unbelievable the amount of food that can fit into one small boy in one short day.
Mom, I got a stomachache.
I knew it. Here's Pepto-Bismol. Taste good?
Uh-huh.
The wonderful coating action of Pepto-Bismol liquid. It soothes nausea, relieves deep down distress. When a day like this ends with a stomachache, remember soothing Pepto-Bismol liquid.
Raquel, I know you have to leave because you're catching a plane to go to London. You're going to be in London by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning?
Yes, I am. And then I'm going on from there to Spain. I'm going to start in all over again. It's really lunacy to run about like this.
Get my hat and go with you. Thanks for dropping by. We'll see you when you get back. Okay.
See, Dean Martin presents The Gold Diggers, Thursday at 10, 9 Central Time.
It's too much, right? That whole band. Do you know Doc's lips are registered with the police department as a lethal weapon? I didn't know that till the other day. Talk about how to get people...
Harmonica.
How about that? Yes, John Wayne's harmonica. Talk about people who join a carpool. It's a cool idea from Thermo King, the auto.
These are the people who ride to work with me on these very hot and uncomfortable days. As you can see, it's cool inside my car. The doors are locked and the windows are rolled up.
Hey, what's that under your dash?
Oh, that's my new Thermo King auto air conditioner. Boy, is it cool.
Air conditioning?
Did he say air conditioning?
Yeah, Thermo King air conditioning. Thermo King is made by the world leader in transport cooling. Cools faster and better.
Harry! Harry, open up!
Harry, hot, open up. Harry.
And the real beauty of Thermo King air conditioning is you can take it out when you trade cars.
Beautiful, Harry. Let us in.
And Thermo King has coast-to-coast service.
Beautiful coast-to-coast service.
Harry, open up, will you?
We're melting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was so hot out there.
Harry, you are
waiting for so long.
See your nearby Thermo King dealer for a one-day installation in any make or model. Thermo King.
I mentioned the monologue tonight, Al. I've got Ed Sullivan tomorrow. It's his 20th anniversary in the television business, which, when he started, nobody would have given Ed Sullivan probably 2 weeks. True? No, that's true. And I'm not saying that disrespectfully. That happened.
I think Ed will agree wholeheartedly. The things that were written about him, the critics that said, you know...
Some of the most vicious and cruel reviews that were ever penned, where I think were penned about Ed when he first started. And he's a very sensitive man. And
a nice man.
Yes,
and,
he is.
And, you know, Fred Allen had the great line. He said, Ed's a pointer. You know, if you rub meat on an actor, you can get a beagle to do the same thing. The things that they said about him. He was a greeter at Forest Lawn, you know. There were thousands of things said about him, you know.
And he's still on.
Yeah. And, you know, I think I've been with Ed now many, many years.
I understand you were on his show 58 times.
I guess it's the record. And I have one room in my house I have 3 rooms in the house, John. This is actually a fact. One room I call the Ed Sullivan room because Ed paid for it.
All the show? Sure.
And one room is called the Gary Moore Show because Gary paid for it. And I have a linen closet named after you.
Wait him out. Waited it out. Well, we can't afford those big salaries.
I appreciate it. Listen, linen's important, you know.
Small, nice closet.
Especially when guests come just to look at the bed. Don't look like you're laying on a wadding, you know. But, Ed, the things that have happened, there's a book I'm sure Ed's going to
There's a new book out we're going to talk about tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's called, what is it? Always on Sunday.
Always on Sunday.
And Ed is the most, you said, sensitive man. And I've been on the show for the years. Every time I want to do something, and I start out to be serious, but I'm the only one that knows where I'm going. And Ed, being as an emotional as he is, he'll stand there, like, well, when they named the theater, they named the CBS Theater after him on Broadway, the Ed Sullivan Theater. I was on the show that night. And before I left the stage, I said, ladies and gentlemen, if I could just have a moment to say that Ed, you know, I brought him over. And he's serious, you see. He thinks I'm going to make one of them big pictures, you see, about him. And I said, to think that a man has been immortalized in his lifetime. I said, a theater has been named after you, Ed. I says, now, along with the greats, the Barrymores, Helen Hayes, Mr. Brooks Atkinson, and I saw tears start to form in his eyes. And I knew I was in trouble because I was going somewhere, you know. And I said Helen Hayes and John Barrymore and Lois Delancey and RKO 86th Street. You know.
To get him out of it.
Yeah, and he looked at me, you know.
Ed is probably one of the best. People say that Ed never laughs. You know, the general people, the public doesn't see Ed, the great stone face and so forth. But when Ed is in an audience, especially in a nightclub, right? He is probably the biggest laugher I have ever seen in my life. He absolutely falls out of his chair.
Well,
with his, I mean, he's one of these.
Some of the audience thinks we're ribbing.
But we're not ribbing.
The Ed Sullivan testimony, then the Friars gave Ed the Man of the Year award. You were the Toastmaster.
Yes.
And you remember when you started your monologue about the acts, about the famous acts?
I'm going to talk about him tomorrow night.
Yeah, I don't want to take away from Ed, but And you know, he's a silent laugher kind of thing. You know, he goes... and the tears start rolling down his eyes. But I think the best thing about Ed, and the fact that he's been able to laugh at it himself, are some of the mistakes that this man has made. I mean...
He has done things on the stage...
Nobody's ever done.
...that are unbelievable, and he has to laugh at them himself.
Oh, his son-in-law, Bob Preck, is a producer of the show. Bob got sick one afternoon. We rehearsed. Bob was running a fever. Sent him home. And he had a Japanese act on the show. 3 girls that couldn't speak a word of English, but he wanted to do a bit with them. And I was there, and I'm always ribbing Ed all the time. I always said, Ed, I'm busy. Well, you don't bother me. You know, I always push him around. He loves that. You know. I said, well, I'll call you when I need you, you know.
And he goes in his
hysteria. Oh, he falls down. So he says they had an interpreter, and he said to him, I want him to say in English, really big shoe. You know. So for about 7 hours, they had the interpreter, had him in the corner saying, really big shoe. Really big shoe, like a parrot. You see, and the 3 Japanese girls say, really big shoe.
Not having the slightest idea.
No, they didn't know what they were saying. And Ed, the cue was, Ed was going to say to them, how do you like the Ed Sullivan Show? And they were going to say, really big shoe. That was going to bring down a house. Well, that afternoon, Bob, the producer, his son-in-law, becomes ill, and they send him home. And now they're on the air live. And you got 3 Japanese girls, can't speak one word of English, don't understand a thing, you know. And it's time for the bit. And I says to them, my son-in-law, Bob Preck, is ill. He's having a conversation with him. He forgot, you know, he's got a million things on his mind, 40 acts. You know, he's always got a sweaty acrobat and a smelly bear waiting backstage, you know. And busy all the time, busy. And he forgets, and he starts talking to them. And I'm standing in the wings, I'm falling on the floor. And he says, will you do me a favor? Will you say on the camera to Bob Preck to get well? And the 3 Japanese, took about 40 minutes. They looked at each other, and they finally went like this. Really big shoe.
Hey, what did they know? What did they know?
He's something else.
There's another one in the book. We're not telling all of them because tomorrow there are a raft of them. You could do 20 minutes on things that Ed has done. The one in there, he had Jack Jones. As you know, they do a rehearsal in the afternoon. They have a studio audience come in. They rehearse the show, and then Ed makes the changes, and they cut and they trim, and the show goes on at night. So he had young Jack Jones, and whose father, of course, is Alan Jones. And during rehearsal, Ed said to Jack Jones on the stage, he says, didn't Alan Jones used to be your father? And Jack said, he still is, which got a big laugh from the studio audience. So Ed says, leave it in. Ed says, leave it in. I'll ask you that on the show tonight, and then you tell me he still is, right? You know what's coming? So they go out that night, and Jack Jones finishes his number, and Ed comes up and says, is your dad still alive? And Jack Jones goes, You know, Ed's probably watching tonight. Well, your dad's still alive? You know.
He had Dolores Gray. Oh, did you hear about Dolores?
Oh, yeah, give him that one.
This is it. Forget it.
He's wrong.
You think the book, they could write out volumes of money. But I think that's the marvelous thing about Ed, that the fact that he does do these things, that there's a certain unprofessionalism about it.
Audience identifies.
That identifies with it, you know, because here's a guy who's really a newspaperman, who conducts a show as a newspaperman. They ask me, what is the success of the Sullivan Show? Is the fact that he conducts it as a newspaper. He scoops everybody. Before anybody had the Beatles, before anybody had Elvis Presley, before anybody had the Singing Nuns, Ed's in a plane with Sylvia. Boom, he's in Moscow. He's anywhere. And you see, he beats everybody to the punch, and that's his success. Ed's never taken any, claim that he was a professional performer, you see. But he has said things. Now, Dolores Gray was in Desperate Rides Again on Broadway. And the show was in its declining days. I mean, they were having a rough time. And Dolores is a lovely star. And they decided in order to hype out a show, you take a bow from the audience, get a little publicity. Dolores Gray sitting there, I was on a show. He said, ladies and gentlemen, he said, starving on Broadway.
Well, Ed, of course, does his own show, and he's an intuitive showman.
Oh,
That's
the big thing.
He's an intuitive showman, and there's one in the book, and maybe we shouldn't tell them all because Ed will be here tomorrow, but our audience changes over anyway. The one I loved, as you know, Ed has a penchant for trimming acts. I mean, he runs his own show. If he thinks an act is 2 minutes too long, he cuts it. And usually some comedian comes in with 8 minutes, you know. Says, do 4. You know, and the guy goes, you know, he does 4. So one night they're
And you know, 90% of the time, Ed's right.
Yes, that's true. So one night they're doing the thing, and he has a guy with a lion on. Remember that story? He's got an animal act. Of course he's got an animal act. This guy, and he's going over, he's telling this lion trainer, great lengths. He says why he has to cut 3 minutes. The guy doesn't want to. It says, you see, we're long and so forth. Keith Smith can't sing. He says, you cut the lion 3 minutes. Understand? And the guy says, I understand. He says, but how do I explain it to the lion? The lion went on. Let me do this. Big Meat Markham will be out in just a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, here's a word about new concentrated oil, the grease breaker.
This is a grease maker. Not much you can do about grease makers. But there is a remarkable way to break up the grease they leave behind. It's the grease breaker, concentrated oil.
Watch. Greasy oil in wash water with a leading detergent and wash water with all. All breaks up grease like no other detergent can.
There'll always be grease makers. That's why you need the grease breaker, concentrated oil.
What's the best way to get rid of water spots on glassware? Strip them away with new dishwasher all. New with built-in spot removers. You see, water spotting is caused by an invisible film. Droplets stick to it, dry into spots. But new dishwasher all strips away this invisible film to leave glassware, silver, everything sparkling clean. New dishwasher all with built-in spot removers.
Big Meat Markham is one of the busiest comedians around today, which is unusual considering the fact he's been in the business for some 50 years. As a matter of fact, a revival of the thing he started many, many years ago, before any of us were in the business, is Here Comes the Judge. And it's in demand all over the country. Would you welcome Big Meat Markham? Yeah. Here comes the judge. Thank you.
Out. Hit it, boy. Yeah, he's a total swing. Just about ready to do that thing. I don't want no tears, I don't want no lies. Above all, I don't want no alibis. This judge is hip, and that ain't all. He'll give you time if you're big or small. Fall in line, or this coat is neat. Peace, brother. Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge. Everyone knows that he is the judge. Oh. Everybody, far and near, I'm going to Paris to stop this war. All those cats got to listen to me because I am the judge and you can plainly see. Lay down the law, they better not budge or I'll bust some heads because I am the judge. Here comes the judge, here comes the judge. Everybody knows he is the judge. Had a chat with whole chief men, sip rice wine and chase it with gin. I may be wrong, lest I miss my guess. I'll have us all out of this doggone mess. I sent a cable to Bob and Mac. Told them boys I was coming back. Sat right down with Rocky Nick and teach them some of these people tricks. Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge. Everybody knows he is the judge. Now come November election time, you vote your way and I vote mine. Case of a tie, the money's all spent. Vote for me, I'm your president. Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge. Everybody knows he is the judge. Now you know I am the judge.
Here come the judge.
Yeah.
Here come the judge.
Yeah, is the tired judge.
Yeah, tired judge.
Yeah, getting a little old for that one.
Ah, come on. How, you really been in it for 50 years, right?
Oh, I came in this business in 1918.
How does it feel to have a piece of business going around today that you originally... I said earlier, I thought it was around 1931, right?
No, I started this thing around 1928.
28?
Yeah. And this is the scene that broke in the situation coming in television. The Ed Sullivan in 1947.
That's right. Marlo Lewis was saying the first time that sketch was done on television...
That's right.
...was in 40... It had just started, I guess.
That's
Wasn't
right.
that the first year?
First year in the business.
How do you feel now that they're using it all over the country?
Well, this thing took off very good for me. I'm very proud. The way they got about 4 records out on it. And I got one that's really doing very good.
Real good, huh?
Yes, indeed. And we record an album of Here Come the Judge, too, and it's doing very good.
What were you doing? You were vaudeville, but what else? You've done other things besides
Oh,
vaudeville.
I've been in every branch of this business, from the carnivals to medicine shows, circuses, television, radio. You name it, I've been on it.
You did radio for a while, didn't you?
Yes, I was with Andrew's sisters for 1 year in California on a show called NK to the Bar Ranch. Gabby Hayes was the ranch foreman, and I was the cook.
Gabby Hayes?
Alamo.
Oh, Gabby Hayes, still going.
We came into Paramount here in New York and stayed longer than any other show I've been in the Paramount Theater, though. 10 consecutive weeks.
Is that right?
In the Paramount Theater, yeah. Broke all records.
Do you ever regret the fact now of being born, say, a little earlier, because now the black comedians are doing so well and being,
Doing very, very
Yeah.
well. Doing very well. I'm proud to say that I was around to see it. I remember the time where we had Stephen Fetchit and Lou Leslie had Florence Mills.
Right.
Those were the two. Then come Bill Robertson.
Right.
And Ethel Waters. And then later on come Rochester.
Eddie Anderson.
And then Lena Horne. And all of a sudden, it just broke out. Now the field is full of us. Everywhere you look, we all over the place now.
I understand you got 22 shots coming up on Rowan Martin's Laughing.
Yeah, starting next year. And I got 6 shots coming from Ed Sullivan.
Hey, that's great.
So the judge look like he's going to have a pretty good year coming up.
Pretty good schedule, huh?
Telling you.
Yeah, Al.
John, I just wanted to say that in the early 30s,
yeah,
at the Apollo Theater, when I first started doing amateur shows and I wanted to be a comedian, someone once said to me, "Have you ever seen Pigmeat Markham?" And I said, "No." They says, "Well, if you want to be a comedian, you go up to the Harlem to Apollo Theater," and he knows it. All the kids, all the young comics,
everybody.
We used to come up there twice a week.
That's right.
A minimum of twice a week, and watch the judge.
Watch the sketches.
Somebody's got to do something.
Somebody wants some time today. I ain't going to do it.
I ain't going to do it. I got a lot of time to give.
Yeah, that is.
How's the job?
What's really nice in those days, though, I can remember now, on a Saturday night, if you didn't get to the Apollo Theater early, you couldn't get a seat. And some of the guys would come along and bring their secretaries with the shorthand type.
Take down the stuff.
And partner, they got a lot.
Well, that's the way guys in the vaudeville used to get
Well, I was
back.
a young man those days. I was doing a lot of writing and working much better than I do now because I can't think as fast as I could when I was young. So I never paid it any attention. The boys come up and get what they want, carry it on away. It didn't make me no difference.
Didn't care?
Oh, no, I had too much of it myself.
Bigby's going to do a couple of the, I guess, basic blackout burlesque sketches in a moment for great pieces of business. We'll do this first, and we'll be right back. We'd like to welcome the Rexall Drug Company back to the Tonight Show. Now here's Louis Nye to tell you all about the 2 for the Money sale at Rexall.
Freeze, value lovers. Heard about the Rexall 2 for the Money sale? 2 quality products for 1 low price, and it's going on right now. You know, you can get 2 cans of Bright Set hairspray for just 98 cents. Oh, nice. It's enough to make you lose your head. Or wow. Or how about Minuteman chewable vitamins for children and adults? 2 bottles for just $2.99. Oh, yeah. Build a strong America. Forget it. Or paper tablets and envelopes. 2 for only 65 cents. Write a letter to a friend, write a letter to your old sergeant and say, hi there. So come on down and save. When you see the values during Rexall's 2 for the Money sale, I'm going to tell you, you're going to do a double take.
Now, here's an example of one of the, when I say old sketches, but this is basic type of comedy that most comedy routines kind of come out of, right?
That's right.
So you all set?
Okay.
Okay.
Seals it, boy. Seals it, boy. Seals it, boy.
Piggy, piggy, piggy.
Oh, boy, I went to the racetrack today and couldn't do no wrong.
Show enough.
Every horse I bet on come in first.
No.
Want a suit satchel full of money?
No, you didn't.
Boy, you ain't never seen this much money in all your life.
Show enough.
Look at the money I won at the racetrack. Look at that, look at that, look at that.
Good gracious, look at the money my friend got.
I be doggone. Don't put your hand in there. Don't do that. Don't never put your hand in my bag. Don't never put your hand in my bag. Don't let nobody do that.
Ain't I'm your friend?
Ain't you who?
Ain't I'm your friend?
Ain't you my friend?
Yeah.
Are you in the bag?
No.
You ain't my friend. All my friends are right in here. Look at them, boy. Let me show you something. You ain't never seen this kind of money, boy.
Give me a feel.
$100. Don't put your hand on money. Don't do that. Don't touch my money. All right?
Man.
Don't put your hand on my money. That's all I ask you don't do. Look at it. That's all. Don't put your hand on it.
Well, let me have some.
That's a $100 bill, a $50 bill, another $50 bill. That's a $20 bill.
I don't want all that.
Oh, don't
Man,
you say
just
you
give me
want
some money, that's all.
Anytime a man gets this kind of money, what's called spending money, these $100 bills and $50 bills, you can't get this kind of money, boy, that you mess around. You know that? Anytime. Oh, where are you going?
You dropped something.
Big pardon?
You dropped something.
I know it.
Don't you want me to pick it up?
Did you drop something?
No.
Well, don't pick up nothing then.
Man, broke as I miss, I'm gonna get this bill.
Now reach down and go ahead, get it. Get it. Reach down and get it. Go ahead.
Well, I'll get it, you know.
Don't reach down no more. Do like that there. That's all. Do like that there. Do like that there. One more time. Go ahead. Do like that.
If I do like that, what you gonna do?
All of your natural life will leave you walking around just like that there. That was it.
I didn't do that with my money, did I?
You ain't never had no money. What do you mean you had some money?
I didn't have no money.
You ain't never
Out
had
at the racetrack.
You thought you had some money one time and got all bigoted.
What do you mean bigoted?
You did. I come to your house one morning at 7 o'clock.
That's right.
Knocked on your door.
Yeah.
I said, Seals, I'm hungry, didn't I?
Yeah.
I said, Seals, I am hungry.
Right.
And you were so hungry you couldn't answer me.
I didn't say that on the racetrack.
What racetrack
you followed me all over the track.
Yeah?
Say, Seals, loan me something.
Loan you what?
Loan me something. I got a good thing.
Yeah?
I got a good thing.
Yeah?
Loan me 20.
Oh, man.
What
you
did
want
I
me,
do? What
you
did
want
I
me
do?
$20
I
to racetrack?
run my hand in my pocket and give you a $20 bill.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, the $20 bill back. Now
Give
you
me
got
my
your
money.
You got your money. Now,
Don't ask for nothing no more.
Don't worry, I got a suit satchel full of money. I ain't gonna never get broke no more.
Wait a minute.
What do you mean, wait a minute?
Don't jive me.
What do you mean, jive you?
I give you a $20 bill.
And I paid you back with a $20 bill.
Boy, free school, you ought to go to day school, night school, and reform school.
What do you mean by that?
That's a $5 bill.
That's a $20 bill I give to you. That's a $20 bill and I can prove. Give me this money. You know what's wrong with you?
What's wrong?
You ain't seen money in so long, you done forgot how money look. That's where your trouble is. That's a $20 bill and I can prove it to you.
Prove it.
What's that right corner right there?
5.
What's that down there?
5.
What's that over there?
5.
What's that right there?
5.
4 5s of what?
20.
You got your money. What you out
Yes, sir. When we have all the kinfolks in for a barbecue, we barbecue big. Generally a whole side of beef. And of course we make our own special barbecue sauce. And lots of it. Use about 20 pounds of brown sugar, 3 or 4 quarts of vinegar, a couple dozen cans of tomato sauce, and about 25 bottles of A1. Recipe's right on the label. Mighty fine sauce for chicken or spare ribs, too. A1 basic barbecue sauce.
That very special day demands a very special touch. The bright, light touch of Lancers. Lancers Rosé. The shimmering, bubbling, slightly bewitching wine that goes with any mood and any food, anytime. Lancers Rosé, America's largest selling imported table wine. Incidentally, we import it in a crock, so you won't mistake it for champagne.
fine. It's a pretty song. The band's going to do it for us on our way out tonight. Next time you come back, you got to do the Blackboard thing and a couple of those other classic
I'd
sketches.
be very happy to do it with you.
Great to have you here.
Very nice. Thank you very kindly.
Cena Appleton, who was supposed to be with us, will be with us later in the week or the first part of next week because we got a little tight tonight. Al, where are you heading from here?
Oh, I'm going to just go out and play a couple of tents, one-nighters, you know, for Lee Goober and Shirley Gross, you know, around the country.
In the round?
In around Maryland and Washington. And...
Hey, great. Tomorrow night we have, we mentioned Ed Sullivan will be right here on our show, along with Nancy Wilson and James Brown. So it ought to be a really big one. We're going to go out. The band has got a great arrangement of Jimmy Webb's song By the Time I Get to Phoenix. So we'll just say goodnight on that note and let the band take it from here. Listen to this.
Program was pre-recorded.
See Rodgers and Hammerstein's Flower Drum Song Saturday night